Been welcome to Just Minding My Business Media. I'm so happy that you stopped by. And today I have Joey Muré, who is co-founder and partner at Wealth Without Wall Street. And that's an online community that seeks to re-educate business owners and families on how money truly works. Wall Street is not just a street in New York. New York that puts Americans' money at risk, but it is also a commonly taught mindset. Wealth Without Wall Street exists to help people who want to become financially free without ever having to invest through Wall Street or becoming debt free. Wow, I definitely want to get into this. So, first, I need to know how you arrived.
Man, well, I tell you, I never knew this kind of stuff growing up. I don't think many of us do. It's not part of like natural curriculum, is it? It's more the curriculum is man, go to school, get good grades, go to high school, get a diploma, go to college, get a good job, and start putting money away for retirement, and eventually grow, go up that corporate ladder and get to freedom, right?
Yeah, that's what they said.
But doesn't really work out that way. Especially if you go higher up that ladder, you get more and more handcuffs, actually. That's what I found for me. I was in the mortgage business for 11 years, and during that time, I made good money. In fact, I made over $300,000 a year in my late 20s. And I thought, wow, this is pretty good. This is better than I anticipated. But my time wasn't my own. I was working 50, 60 hours a week on a regular basis. And I have five daughters, Ida, and I never got to hardly see them. In fact, we would go on vacation and I would be stuck in the hotel taking phone calls while they were at the beach. And it was like, wait a minute, this isn't how this is supposed to work. These are the people that I love that I'm working for. Why would I not even be able to take a break, and spend time with them? And it was because I was the only person at work, the only thing at work. Money was not at work on my behalf. And I started to learn some things in 2009 that changed the whole trajectory of our lives and ultimately my knowledge of what it means to take control of your own personal finances. And so that's the thing that led me to today, getting to start Wealth Without Wall Street. And we've now created over 50,000 a month in passive income from so it's a massive difference from that 2009 to today, the transformation that's taken place. And we want to help more people get there.
Yes, 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 indeed. So, the passive income revolution, the PIOS framework that's changing lives. So, first of all, what does PIOS stand for?
Great question. So, the one of the number one things that's standing in the way of people getting to financial freedom is they don't have a cash flow system that is actually helping them get there. Okay. And I can explain in more detail. But what we've determined is that you need a passive income operating system by which you run all of your cash flows that go into your life, get them out of the rat race so that then you can start to get into what we call the wealth interface, the place where your cash will start to compound and you can start using it to buy assets that produce passive income. And we can break this down in all the steps that you want to. But ultimately, if you start with that passive income operating system, you're now at ground zero. You now know that you're on your way to getting to financial freedom.
Okay. So, let's stay there for a moment. So, let's give our audience an audience of what that looks like, what that could look like.
Okay. So we break it down into a few steps. Okay. In the passive income operating system, the first thing we do is we do a cash flow analysis. And we say, all right, if your new goal, like maybe before, like when you first started your job, you had the goal of quote unquote retirement, right? And you see, I'm doing air quotes because I don't believe that word anymore. Retirement is means to be taken out of service. And the last time I checked, in my Bible, nobody ever was taken out of service,
Sure.
and I don't intend to be. We have too much value to give to the world to be kind of thought that we don't have anything left to give, and so we just get taken out of service. That just doesn't work for me. So once you've changed your mindset, said I want to be financially free today. I don't want to be putting off until my 60s and 70s and hopefully one day being able to ride off into the sunset. I want to be free today. That means I have to have more passive income than I have monthly expenses. If I have that, this is not a formula that we came up with, by the way. We borrowed it from Robert Kiyosaki's, the Rich Dad Poor Dad book of the world. If your passive income exceeds your monthly expenses, all of a sudden you're free. Nobody else has any hold on your time. You are the one that gets to decide what you do, where you do it, and with whom you do it with. And so the powerful thing is once you know that that's the new goal, I got to start looking at where am I putting money and does it support that? Okay, so I'm going to give you a really practical thing that people can apply here. I started my first job, and I signed up for my 401k because I wanted to quote unquote retire one day. But now I say I want to be financially free today. Well, how is that going to happen? Well, I got to start putting money into places that give me passive income today or reduce a monthly expense today, right? If it doesn't mess with one of those two levers, I can no longer do it because it's going to keep me further from financial freedom. So when I put a dollar into 401k, does it produce a passive income today? Nope,
At all.
not at all. It's just accumulating, right? Well, then if I put a dollar there, does it then reduce a monthly expense? The answer is no, it doesn't. So it doesn't produce a passive income. It doesn't reduce a monthly expense. That means it's no longer something that I can contribute to because it's not going to get me closer to financial freedom. It's only getting me further away. So when you audit all the places in your life that you've been putting money that were good things at the time, you start to see that those things are no longer serving the purpose that you originally intended. Now I have a new goal. I have a new direction, and I need to start putting money into places that support the new direction. So during that, in that passive income operating system, I got to audit my cash flows and I have to redirect where I put money so that I can get it growing and get it in the right places to start taking action. So does that help? That's the first step.
Yes, yes, yes. So in your program, do you help people make selections of different type of things that they can get involved with to make that happen?
Absolutely. So, well, actually, you're jumping ahead of me, Ida. Okay. You just like want to go to the front of the class, I think. It comes down to most people want to just know what can I invest in? What can I invest in? Can I start creating passive income tomorrow? And I would say, man, if you got your cash flow system in place, now we have to do the second thing that's missing for most people in terms of financial freedom. They have to become an investor. I don't know how many times I've seen somebody who's a successful business person. They've owned a business, they've started businesses, and man, they're really good at it, but they're terrible investors. And let me explain what I mean. The kind of person that's really, really good in business, are they optimistic or pessimistic?
Usually, that I would say a little bit of both.
Well, you may be right, but I would say a lot of them are optimistic and they're very driven and they're very like, hey, I'm gonna push through whatever wall I see. I'm gonna just make it happen, right? They got to have a little bit of grit, to get through it. And so they make things happen and they are very optimistic. Well, a good investor is the opposite. They're very pessimistic. They're like, hey, I understand that you say that investment is going to return 16%, but I don't believe you. You're going to have to prove it to me, right? Give me all the reasons this doesn't work. Tell me the things that are going to make this a bad decision or bad investment. And they go through and they just dissect it because they know how to do due diligence and they know that they can't just take things at face value. They have to do some research. I'm telling you right now, most people never spend the time learning to be an investor. And most of them have shut that part of their brain off because they've been putting money in Wall Street for a decade or more. And they're like, I don't even have to think about investing. But now they say, wait a minute, that's not working. The Wall Street model's not working. I don't want to retire someday. I always want to be doing something, but I need to have more freedom of my time. That means I got to start learning to be an investor. I got to take control and I have to learn how to identify the right deals that are going to help me get to financial freedom. So that's the second step in our process, Ida. Once you have that cash flow system, boom, we start immediately. We go into a 12-week course we call the Passive Income Lab that guarantees at the end of that process, you're going to have your first $500 a month in passive income, or we're going to work with you until you do. So, of course, everybody doesn't qualify. We have to make sure that they qualify, but that's our promise whenever they go through that course.
Wow. And how do people connect with the course?
Well, I'll tell you, we have a specific page just for your audience. And if they go to wealthwithoutwallstreet.com/, minding my business, then you will have access to that course. You can get the download for a quiz. You can get access to a lot of different things on there, along with my contact info. And I love for people to say, "Hey, I heard you and Ida talking on minding my business." I would love to know that. And so please don't hesitate to reach out to me by going there.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You already got my thinking cap swirling right now. So, turning a hustle into freedom, mastering that active to passive income shift with your hustle.
What's your question on that?
Basically, um, a lot of people have hobbies and things that they enjoy doing. Uh, and they don't even look at it as a hustle. They
Yeah.
just love it. So how do they get that mindset to flip the switch, so to speak?
Well, I'll tell you one example, even from our community. I'll tell you, there's a gentleman who had been working in like a Jimmy John's franchises, right? I think he had two or three of them, and he was working a lot. But you know what he decided? He's like, I got to find a way that I don't have to be working this much. And so he started working in raw land, buying and flipping raw land. He went through a course, thelandgeek.com. They're friends of ours. They've actually helped a lot of people in our community. And he went through their course, learned how to do it, and he would start the day mailing letters, talking to sellers, negotiating deals, whatever it may be. He'd go to his work. And then after work, he would pick up the land business again and do certain tasks there. So we like to say he was working his 5 to 9 to get out of his 9 to 5, right? And sometimes you have to turn that hustle into freedom. So eventually he made enough money like flipping raw land and turning it into owner finance notes every month that he was able to sell the franchises and get out from under that 9 to 5 to where now he's traveling all the time. He can manage this business on the side from anywhere in the world, and he can hire people into even like virtual assistants into each component of this business to where he's very, very his time is very much not required. He can do probably 10 hours a week or less of actual oversight in the business because each of the components are covered by somebody else. So that to me is a great example of somebody saying, hey, I'm going to start hustling, but I'm going to start replacing myself along the way. And it's great to identify what sort of businesses and what sort of side hustles can turn into that. It may not be land flipping for you, maybe something else, but that's just a great example of one that we know we see very commonly.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Wow. So when people come to you, what's the first thing that you say to them?
Well, the first thing I want to do is make sure we're a good fit.
Okay.
And and I'll tell you this, I actually had this with a gentleman at church with me the other day. He said, I'm just not really happy with my current financial advisor. And I said, really? So I said, tell me what you mean. And he's like, well, I just don't feel like I'm getting the support and all this sort of stuff. And I said, well, he said, how does your stuff work? And I said, well, if you want somebody that's going to manage your money for you, we're not your guy. Like, we're not going to do it for you. That's a Wall Street thing. But if you want to actually take control and you want to learn the skills to one, get your cash flow right, and then two, become an investor to start really using your money wisely to create passive income, we got you covered. But you're going to have to participate. Like this is not a volunteer, hey, just stand on the sidelines type deal. I'm not going to help you like that. I'm going to help you invest in yourself. And you've got to be the one to take the lead on this deal. And I said, so I don't want to mislead you. Don't come sign up for us to work with us if you're not willing to step into that kind of steward role. That's what I like to think of it as, man, God's given us resources. We have to steward them well. And if we don't take that ownership, then we're really abdicating that to somebody else. And that's just not our game.
Yes, and I definitely can agree with you wholeheartedly. You've got to be participate in your journey.
Right.
Simple as that. Oh wow, Joey. You're gonna have to come back.
You saying there's a part two to this, Ida?
Yeah, buddy. It's definitely gonna be a part two because I just know, I mean, and right now, the climate in the world right now is not very pretty. And people need this type of motivation to realize that they have options and they have choices.
That's our main objective, Ida, is just to expose people to the truth and to what's out there, the opportunities that exist. We don't intend for people to invest in all the different things that we have. We have probably 21 different income streams, but we want to give people a vision of what's possible and to kind of regain that control that they've been told, man, Wall Street's smart, you're not. They can do it, you can't. I'm here to tell you, you can do it and you should do it because this is where you're going to see the actual results. Nobody cares about your money like you do, and nobody else has as much to lose as you do. And so I'm just telling you this. I want to inspire people to take action. If two rednecks from Alabama can do what we've done in the last 10 to 15 years, um, you got a lot of opportunity.
All righty now, Joey. So again, how does our audience connect with you?
Yeah, if you'll go to wealth.wallstreet.com/minding my business, there's all sorts of links and ways to contact us there. And again, love to hear from you.
Absolutely. So it's a date. You will be coming back, and we will definitely further this conversation. And I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule today to drop all of these gems on us because this has been, I'm sure, listeners, viewers take notes and just simmer on what you've heard here and reach out to Joey because I'm feeling good vibrations, and I'm also feeling the authenticity that you really want to help people.
Absolutely. Well, it's been my privilege to be with you today, Ida, and look forward to helping.
Absolutely. And thank you, audience, as always. We always appreciate you too.